let us understand a few more features in the pivot table. So before doing that, let me remove the state and the segment. So we have the sales for each of the four regions and the total sales. Now, if we want to calculate the percentage of sales contributed by each of the regions, what we can do is we can move this sales field once again in the values section. So now we have the sales twice, and what we can do is we can right click on this sales. We have an option to show the values as percentage of grand total. So we can select this, and now we have the total sales and percentage sales contributed by each of the regions. We can change the name of this column from sum of sales to percentage revenues. So we can click over here or maybe type percentage revenues, or we can right click and then select value field settings, change the name of the column to average revenues. Click OK. So now the name has again changed to average revenue. Let me remove this field from here and let's select the profit. The moment we click on profit, we have a new field named values appearing in the column section. So this values basically controls the values in this section. Now what we can do is we can add the product category. So we click on the category, and now we have the revenue and profits for each region and each category. We can move this category to the columns. So for each category, we have the sum of sales and sum of profit. We can change the order. So if we move these values down and categories first, so now we have each category of the product where we have the total revenues and total profit. We can also change the sum to some other metric. So if I click on value field setting, so we have the option to show the sum of the revenue and sum of profit, which is the default option. But we can also change it to average, maximum, minimum. So let's say if I change this to average and click OK. So now we have the average profit for each transaction. Or we can do a count also. So we'll select value field setting, click on count and OK. So now we have the count of each of the transactions, and the total transactions for this data set is 9994. Let me do the sum calculation again. So we'll click on value field setting, sum, and then OK. So now we have the sum of the profits. If we move the category to the rows, we have the numbers for each region and each category. We can add one more field. So if we want to add the subcategory, for each category, we have the subcategory where we have the total revenue and total profits. So there are multiple ways in which we can plug and play with the options given in the pivot table. Let's now explore how we can use the filter. So if we want to filter the data for each state, so what we can do is we can click on the state, and instead of showing it in a row, we can drag it to the filters. So now there is a filter at the top. So currently the data is for all the states. We can select a particular state. So if we want to select the first state, Alabama, and click OK. So now we have the region, which is the South region, the segment, and the category of the product for this state. We can also select multiple states. So I'll click on the filter. Here we have the option to select multiple items. So when I click over here, there are check boxes before each name. So we can select the states we want. So if I select Alabama, Florida, and Georgia and click OK, so now we have the data for these three states. So this is how we can use the filter in the pivot table. There are many more options which you can explore in the pivot table. Thank you.